What's up, guys? It has been quite a long time since I've made a video on here, so I thought I'd just kind of catch up with you and show you or tell you about what's been going on in my life lately, and also give you guys 5 tips or little tips or tricks that I think is important to know before going to flight school. First of all, Nick and I are on this beautiful hike.
I hope nobody hears you talking. What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
Welcome back.
I know.
Oh, God, I don't know this guy.
I don't know this guy. Yeah, but we're at the Cloud Forest, which is a really cool hike that's right by our house, which is so cool. And we needed to get some fresh air. Cool. So, now let's get into the 5 things that I wish I knew before getting into flight school. And the cool thing is this applies to fixed wing and helicopters. It's all, really universal. The first thing, hidden expenses and length of time. I'm looping that in together. There's a lot of things that you have to pay for, and it's, you got to pay for housing, you got to pay for your headset, which headset can be like $1,000 if you want to get the Bose ones, which are really good, and have Bluetooth and all that. Each check ride, if you get a loan for school, the check rides aren't included. So each check ride is like $750. That is really expensive. That adds up. And retakes, if you mess up, if you fail, $400. So yeah, how much it costs is a lot. And for helicopters, I will be transparent. I took out a loan for $120,000. That's a lot of money. And I was very hesitant to do that. But I did that just in case, so I'd have a buffer, because it typically should cost around $100,000. But you want to plan accordingly, have a little extra just in case. And obviously paying that back is going to be tough, but I'll talk more about that later, and why or how I came to that decision, basically, to do that. The second thing that I think is so important is to figure out how you learn. I think for me, I was able to figure out that I know, Quizlet is my best friend. I love that app, and it's helped me so much. But sometimes people like using actual paper flashcards and stuff like that. And you need to figure out what works for you. And that's going to make school so much easier, because you know how to study. You know what is going to get the information in your head, regardless of what it is. And I know now my own process of how I absorb it. And I think that's helping me to get through this last part of training a little quicker than the beginning. The other part too that I have noticed is the people who either took AP classes or honors classes in high school, or actually went to college for a hard major. Those people I've seen tend to have just a better time overall and don't struggle as much, because they've already been in an environment where they're having to really critically think and really study. Not to say that, if you didn't go to college or if you weren't in honors or AP classes, that you won't be able to do it, because that doesn't mean that you're not smart or anything like that. It's just that environment has already put you in a position where you needed to really study, really think. And I think that just kind of helps prepare you for that same thing of you already know how to learn. So I think that's really important, just recognizing that. But again, it's if you haven't been in stuff like that, if you didn't go to college, it's totally fine. Plenty of people get through the program, no problem at all. And they've never been to college or anything like that. I mean, Nick didn't go to college, but
I did for a year and a half?
Yeah, that's true. He started college. Experience. Yeah, and it helped that he did take a lot of really tough classes in high school and stuff. So just the point is, though, with those classes, it's helping you figure out how to study and what works for you. But regardless, that is an important thing. Figure out how you like to study. It's just going to make it that much easier. So that way you can get through the program faster, because you know how to study, regardless of what the information is. In terms of the actual information, hopefully you're doing it for the love of the game, because you love aviation. That's why you should be here. And if you enjoy learning about it, then you're not going to find it hard. Because that's the thing a lot of people ask is like, well, how hard is flight school? I think it's as hard as you make it. You know, if you do truly love aviation, actually, let's go this way.
Okay.
If you do love aviation, if you're constantly loving to learn about this stuff, then you're going to find it interesting to learn, and it's not going to be hard for you. I always find it awkward talking to a camera in front of people. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I think that's, what was I saying, Nicholas?
You were talking about loving the game or something.
Yeah, for the love of the game. Yeah, so that's important, and just making sure you're in for the right reasons. And then yeah, like obviously it is work. You do have to study. You do have to put in the time. So I think that's an important thing to know. Is like, yeah, it requires work. But if you enjoy learning about this stuff, then you're gonna find it interesting, and it's not gonna be bad.
Oh, by the way, can I talk to the people?
Right here.
As an actual instructor, I validate everything he's saying. I agree with it all. Like seeing it from an instructor's point of view, and actually being gone through the entire program, like I agree with everything he's saying. So that gives my stamp of approval.
The instructor stamp of, yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm still a student, so take all this with a grain of salt. But
I side with it.
Yeah, but it's what he's seen with his students. That's what I've seen with myself and all of our friends here. So yeah, that is important. Number 3, the private pilot license. It really is a license to learn. And this is what we were talking about before. You do not need to know everything in order to get your private pilot's license. In all honesty, I'd argue that you really don't know that much as a private pilot. And I think that's why it's so important to...
Shit.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important to expand and keep going further. And even if you are doing it just to get your private, you should be constantly trying to learn more outside of that, even if you're not going for another rating, just because there is so much to learn. And at the end of the day, the private pilot's license is just to show, hey, I know how to be safe, make the right decisions, and not be stupid because you were flying thousands and thousands of dollars worth of property in the sky, which is could be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Take passengers, so they want to make sure you're not going to kill anyone.
Yeah, exactly. And you can take passengers, so that is really, really important. So yeah, you don't need to stress about, like, before your private check ride, oh my god, there's so much I don't know what's it, blah, blah. You just need to have a good surface level understanding of everything, just a broad understanding. It doesn't need to be deep because they're not expecting that of you. I was so nervous before my private check ride just to find out. It was not that bad. Even my commercial check ride was not that bad because it's not going nearly as in depth as you think it would. You just need to be prepared on all aspects. It doesn't need to be super far in depth. Like, we are not experts on any one particular thing in aviation. We have a general understanding of how our helicopters work, but we're not mechanics. We have a general understanding of how medical factors work, but we're not doctors. We have a general understanding of how weather works, but we're not meteorologists. It's just having a broad understanding of things is what is important. All right, number 4. You will absolutely have plateaus, and that is okay. Especially in ComCFI, which is a very long period. It's exhausting. And I guess, yeah, just expand on that. We, at our school, the way we do it is you do private. The idea is to get it done in 3 months. I think it ends up usually taking longer. But private for 3 months, then commercial and CFI at the same time for 6 months, and then IFR, CFII for 2 to 3 months. And that's how you can theoretically finish in a year. Some people have been able to do it. It really just depends on you. But that 6-month time period between or after you got your private and when you're working towards commercial and CFI is a really, really long time. So it's important to recognize that, like, yeah, you're going to have some plateaus. It's going to get a little tedious at times. Be like, oh my God, I feel so far away. What am I doing? But that's where you have to fill that time with trying to learn as much as you can. Try to do fun flights. Like, I did some ferry flights where I got to fly from the Big Island to Kauai, from the Big Island to Oahu, stuff like that. Take advantage of that time to build those hours. And do cool stuff to remind you, like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing it, and recognize that it's okay if you have plateaus and you feel like you're not learning as much, like it's a long time and you got to just stick it out, but it's okay. So I recommend, taking time to talk with different instructors, talk with different students, really pick different people's brain. Like, you are trying to learn as much as you can so that way you can be ready for your CFI check ride, because that's when you are having to teach. That is when it's your time to show not only what you know, but you have to be able to teach it.
I'm gonna go piss.
You're gonna go to the bathroom. Okay. But yeah, so that is definitely what I would recommend there. Take advantage of that time to do cool stuff and really learn, because there's so much to learn and you're always going to be learning more and more, which is great. All right, number 5, enjoy the process. And this is one for more so myself than anything else, is like really just living in the moment. As a student, you have a lot of time to obviously fly and study.
I pissed on my foot.
Thanks. now everyone, yeah, they definitely need to know that. Jeez. Okay, so yeah, enjoy the now. Like, look at this. Look at where we are. Look how beautiful this is. This is absolutely incredible where we are and where we get to study. And I need, for myself, I'm saying this for myself, I need to enjoy it more and live in the moment. I think it's important to find that balance of, hey, yes, I'm here to study, I'm here to learn, and I need to focus and lock in, but I also need to take time for myself to go on adventures and go do things and not just be focused solely on school. It's about finding that balance, and I'm really fortunate that I've had some incredible adventures here with friends, and the fact that my brother is here with me, which is amazing. So we've been able to do some really, really cool stuff, especially when you become an instructor. That is when it's a lot harder to be able to do stuff, because now you are back to working a full-time job, and you're not going to be able to have that same time that you did as a student. So take advantage of that time as a student to really enjoy life. Like, for me, going from working in the corporate world, then going back to being a student, felt really weird. I was not used to that, and it took some time to go back into that mindset of, oh yeah, I'm a student, I'm not in the professional world anymore. But it's also awesome, because it's like, oh cool, I'm a student and I'm not in the professional world. I can enjoy this time and really make the most of it. So that is the biggest thing, is finding that balance, finding that way to enjoy it but still be efficient with your learning and all that good stuff. Okay, I said 5 things, but there's actually one more thing that I really want to mention, and I think it's important. Understanding the difference between a 141 school and a Part 61, and knowing the difference and what works for you. When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll do flight school part-time while still working my job. And a lot of people do that, and if that's what you want to do, that's great. I don't recommend that route, just because you're not going to be fully in it. If you're doing it part-time and you're flying once a week or once a month, it's going to take you years to get to where you want to go. And if you're fine with that, if you're fine with just doing it on the side just for fun, that's great. Like, if you're doing it as just a hobby just to get your private, okay, yeah, fine.
Or if you're working like part-time and the student part-time, and you're like, okay, I don't have the time to be full-time
Yeah,
student.
if you don't have the time to be full-time, yeah, then of course. But it's about finding that balance. And I think for me personally, it was so much better to just go dive straight into a 141 program, which is a full-time accelerated course that you're able to finish school in a year, which is awesome, because it means, okay, I'm taking time off of work and all that for a year, and I'm not making money. At least for me, I've been working part-time on the side, and that helps. But it's important to do that, because that way you are learning every day. It's staying fresh in your head. You're getting everything done efficiently. And it's just, you're retaining it way easier, versus when you're doing it part-time, it's going to take so much longer. You're going to hop in the helicopter, hop in the plane, be like, oh shoot, I haven't done this in forever, I feel rusty, whatever it may be. So that's really, really important to know what works for you. The only way I was able to do the 141 program, almost fell. is by getting a student loan. So I was able to find a school. Not all 141 programs have the eligibility to get student loans. Mauna Loa Helicopters is one of the ones that does. And that was the only way I could do it, because that's a lot of money to be able to do all at once, versus part-time you can do it while still working. So yes, it's a lot of money, and obviously I'm going to have to be paying that back. For me, the way I was able to determine that it was right for me, shout out to Ben on Reddit, just a random helicopter pilot that I found when I was scouring through Reddit trying to like figure out if this was right for me. He also was 26 years old when he started flight school. That's how old I am. And he went as well to Mauna Loa Helicopters, and he quit his corporate job just like me, because he was like, this is what I want to do. And he told me, he was like, yeah, the loan is really tough. And he's I think 45 years old now. And he said, he was like, yeah, I'm still paying off that loan, which is tough. But the way he said it, and this is what convinced me, he was like, look, the first 5 years, that's the hardest part, because you are still paying this giant loan and you're not making that much money. But as you get more time, more hours, you get working up in the higher paying jobs. And he said by the time he was 31, so 5 years in, he was making enough money to where, yes, he's still paying the loan, but he's comfortable enough to where it was like not even a factor. He was making enough money to where it was fine. And sure, that loan is very expensive. I told you, for me, it's $120,000, and that's typically around what people take out. That's a lot to pay back. It helps if you're able to get a good interest rate and stuff, but still. So that's what I thought about. I was like, okay, by the time I'm 31, I should be making enough money to where I'm feeling more comfortable. That's 5 years of, yeah, it's going to be a little tough, but you know what? For the life that I get to live, doing all this incredible stuff, and flying helicopters for my career, I think it's worth it. Now, 5 years from now, I'll make an update video and I'll let you know. We'll see when that comes time to it. But that, for me, I think is worth it. And I think that is why it's better to get it done now, versus imagine if in 5 years from now, I'm still in flight school because I'm doing it part-time. Those hours, I'm not building it the same. And now, okay, it took me 5 years to finish the program, and now I'm just finishing and I have only 200 hours, and now I have to go start my new career at 31 versus 26. It's a big difference. But so, yeah, let's talk about what's been going on lately. So first of all, yeah, we have been grinding away. Nick finished the program and became an instructor, which is awesome. And
Watch students try to kill me every day. It's fun.
yeah.
I actually love that part.
Yeah. That's
fun.
the fun part of being an instructor,
Yeah.
is you're trying to battle it out and make sure you don't unalive yourself. But yeah, so what's been happening? So basically, I have been, part of the training program for helicopters at Mauna Loa, and it's been amazing, but it's just been a long process. The CFI part, after you get your private pilot's license, from there, the way we do it here is you're working on your commercial and CFI at the same time. So you're basically like practicing, teaching, and all that, and building that time, building those hours, which has been, honestly, it's really, really fun. It's a long time because you have to build 100 hours to do it. So I haven't been posting much lately, just because honestly I was just really focused on that, which I think is important. I think it's a lot more important for me to focus on school and not focus on, content and all that and social media. So that's what I've been working on. And I just got my commercial license and CFI back to back, which was really cool. I'm happy I was able to do that. Sometimes people have to get their commercial and then spend a lot of time after focusing on CFI, but I was very blessed to be able to do it all back to back. So now I'm working on IFR and CFII back to back, which hopefully, if I can go fast enough, I can actually get it done in 2 months, which would be amazing. So then from there, I'm done with the program. Really, really cool. So I'm gonna try and make more content and stuff as time goes on. For now, I've just been really focusing on school, so I thought at least just give you guys this update and tell you, I'm still here, still working on it, and the goal is still to get, flying and do all this awesome stuff and allow that to eventually fund my racing and get back there. So it's been sucky having to, put racing on hold, but ultimately I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I love getting to fly helicopters every day, which is so cool. But yeah, that's everything from me. I think those, I guess that was 6 things, are really, really important, and I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments. I'm always here to help provide any information that I can. And obviously, I'm still learning too, so I'll keep trying to put more of these update videos out, especially once I become an instructor and once I go on to my other careers. I want to be showing what it's like, showing the behind the scenes, not just showing, oh, it's all sunshine and rainbows. I want to explain what it's like, and that way, if there's someone who was like me a year ago trying to decide if this was right for them, I hope that I can help you go in that right direction and figure out if this is the right move for you. So yeah, thank you guys. But I want to see if my brother Nick has any advice for someone who is actually an instructor.
Oh, there's your mic. I didn't realize
You didn't see the mic, is
no.
right? Yeah.
Well, the one thing I've noticed for like part-time students, people who can't do the program full-time and just focus on that, is either A, they've worked a shit ton before getting into school and they like saved up a lot of money, then they went over and used that money for the program, or B, they are like half student, half working, so like part-time and student, part-time working.
Yeah.
And that's what I've seen like more people do. It kind of sucks, and that one's a lot harder, but it's probably a lot easier in terms of you don't have to spend like 5 years of your life saving up money. Then you can focus entirely on school. But those are the 2 routes I've seen. So both ways have worked, and I've seen people do both.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can, try to focus primarily on school if that's your goal, and you'll get done so much faster, and you'll be able to understand it so much easier.
Yeah. Versus, the part-time, it's still possible, it's still doable, but it's going to take more time to really retain that information, because you're doing it on top of whatever your full-time job is and all that, and it's totally doable. I know many people that have, and especially like if it's just for your private, really doable. The private pilot's license, it is not that hard to get it. It's just going to take more time if you're doing it part-time. But yeah, so you got to figure out what's right for you. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope that helps. And yeah, I'll try and keep you guys updated on whatever's going on my end as best as I can. But thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.